Very good morning to all of you. In my previous video, we discussed about accounting concepts and we also discussed about generally accepted accounting principles. I was telling you people that there are 10 important concepts in the field of accounting. At the same time, there are 4 important conventions in the field of accounting. So yesterday we discussed what is the meaning of GAAP. Then we discussed what is the meaning of accounting concept. And later we discussed about 10 important accounting concepts in the field of accounting along with examples. As we all know that here GAAP stands for generally accepted accounting principles, which means these are certain guidelines that are given by professional bodies for recording and reporting of business transaction with an intention to bring uniformity in accounting practices. Those guidelines are called as generally accepted accounting principles. Then here accounting concepts means these are certain assumptions, these are certain ideas, or you can say these are certain aspects which every accountant must keep in mind at the time of preparing financial statement of the company. Those basic guidelines, those basic assumptions, those basic ideas are known as accounting concepts. In other words, these are certain broad working rules on which every accountant will carry out accounting activities. Those are called as what? Those are called as accounting concepts. As we all know that there are 10 concepts in the field of accounting. Here, first concept is business entity concept. As I told you, people, here entity means separate recognition or separate existence or individual recognition or identity is called as entity. Here, according to this particular concept or this particular concept assumes that the business enterprise and the person one who own that business enterprise are two separate entities. They are two separate entities. Here, as far as accounting is concerned, we are not supposed to treat business enterprise and the person one who own that business enterprise are one and same. They are two distinct, they are two different entities. They are having their own recognition in society. I was giving example of Infosys Limited. Here Infosys Limited and Narayan Murthy are two separate entities as far as accounting is concerned. We are not supposed to club the business transactions with personal or private transactions of owner, or we are not supposed to club the personal or private transactions of owner with the business transaction. We should maintain two separate books of accounts. One is in the name of business and another one is in the name of owner. We are not supposed to club the business transactions and the personal or private transactions of the owner. That particular concept is called as business entity concept. Then next one is money measurement concept. As I told you people, here there will be two types of event. One is monetary event and another one is non-monetary event, which we can express in terms of money. They are called as monetary events. Which we cannot express in terms of money. They are called as non-monetary events. So this particular concept states that we should make an entry only for those transactions which we can measure in terms of money, and the transactions that we cannot measure in terms of money, such transactions should not be considered at the time of preparing financial statement. That particular concept is called as money measurement concept. Salary paid, wages paid, these things can be measured in terms of money. Quality of product, qualification of employees, work environment in the organization, these all are qualitative aspects which we cannot measure in terms of money. So such transactions cannot be considered at the time of preparing financial statement. That concept is called as money measurement concept. Then third one is going concern concept. The name itself, it indicates going concern, meaning business will run for a long period of time in future. There is no intention, there is no necessity to close that particular business in near future. We will carry out our business activities over a period of time. This particular assumption is called as what? It is called as going concern concept. Business will run for a long period of time in future. There is neither an intention nor the necessity to close that particular business in near future. That particular concept is called as going concern concept. Best example, we will spend money in terms of crores on assets because we are going to use those assets over a period of time. We are going to carry out our business activities over a period of time. This particular assumption is called as going concern concept. Then next one is accounting period concept. Yesterday I was telling you people what is the meaning of accounting period. Here accounting period means the entire life of the business is split into small parts, and each part will be consisting a duration of 12 months. So that duration of 12 months is called as what? It is called as accounting period. Actually it begins from 1st April of the year and it ends on 31st March of next year. This particular duration of 12 months is called as what? Is called as accounting period. So here this particular concept states that every business organizations must prepare their financial statements at least one time in a year. In other words, this particular concept states that every business organizations must ascertain their profit or loss periodically. They should know their periodical progress. They are not supposed to prepare their financial statement once in 5 years, once in 10 years. Preparing such kind of financial statement is not useful. So this particular concept states that every business must prepare their financial statement at least one time in a year. That particular concept is called as accounting period concept. Then the next concept is cost concept. What is cost concept? Yesterday, I was telling you people that every assets will be having two prices. Every assets will be having two prices. One is cost price and another one is market price. Here, cost price means the money that we paid for acquisition of that particular asset is called as what? Is called as cost price. And the price that is prevailing in the market, that price is called as market price. So this particular concept states that here assets must be recorded at cost price. Assets must be recorded at cost price. We should not bother about market price of an asset because here assets are purchased for use. They are not purchased for sale. For example, a year back we have purchased asset for rupees 5 lakh. Now the value of same asset is around 3 lakh rupee. We should not bother about the present price of an asset. We should bother about the acquisition price of an asset because at that time we have acquired that particular asset in order to use, not for sale. So here assets must be recorded at cost price and the market value of an asset must be ignored while preparing financial statement. This particular idea or assumption is called as cost concept. Then the next concept is dual aspect concept. Yeah, as we all know that here every business transactions will be having minimum two aspects. Every business transactions will be having minimum two aspects. One is receiving of benefit and another one is giving of benefit. Here one aspect should be debited and another aspect should be credited. That particular concept is called as dual aspect concept. So in very simple words, this particular concept states that for every debit there should be a corresponding credit. Suppose if you undertook any of the transaction, so there will be minimum two accounts. So one account should be debited and another account should be credited at any cost. Both the accounts cannot be debited and both the accounts cannot be credited. So dual aspect, there will be two aspects and they will be having opposite effect, two sides effect. One is receiving of benefit and another one is giving of benefit. So one aspect should be debited, another aspect should be credited. Next one is matching concept. Matching means, as we all know, that it is comparison. It is comparison. So what this particular concept states, the expenses which are incurred in a particular accounting period should be matched against the revenue earned in the same accounting period. That we will earn certain money. In order to earn that money, we have spent certain money. So here we should compare what? We should compare our revenue and expenses. Revenue means money earned. Expenses means money spent. So by comparing these revenue and expenses, by that we will get to know the profit or loss of the business. That particular concept is known as what? It is known as matching concept. So this concept states that we should match the revenue and expenses of a same accounting period. That particular concept is known as matching concept. The next one is realization concept or revenue concept. Here, realization, revenue concept. It is also known as revenue recognition concept. This particular concept states that revenue means income. Revenue means money earned by the business. Whether it is cash transaction or credited transaction, there will be a revenue, there will be a certain income, right? So here this particular concept states that revenue should be recorded in books of account only when it is earned or only when it is realized. The unrealized revenue or the revenue which is not yet earned, such kind of revenues cannot be recorded in the books of accounts of a company. That particular concept is known as realization concept. For example, goods sold, whether it is on cash basis or on credit basis, revenue is earned. Revenue is earned. So we can record this particular revenue in books of account. You can take one more example, that is order received for goods worth rupees 5 lakh. Order received, but order is not yet executed. We not yet supplied goods to them. They not yet accepted our goods. So this kind of unrealized revenue cannot be recorded in books of accounts of a company. That particular concept is known as revenue recognition or realization or revenue concept. The next one is accrual concept. As I told you people, there are two bases for recording of business transaction. One is on accrual basis and another one is on cash basis. What is cash basis? Meaning the transaction should be recorded on the basis of receipts and payment. If money is paid, if money is received, only such kind of transaction should be recorded. We are not supposed to record any kind of credit transactions. That concept is called as cash concept. I mean cash basis. Now here accrual basis or accrual concept means we should record all transactions, all the transactions. We must brought into account all the transactions, whether they are settled in cash or not, whether they are settled in cash or not. Meaning, if any of the credited transactions are taken place, or in very simple words, if revenue is earned, whether it is received or not yet received, and if expenditures are incurred, whether they are paid or not yet paid, they must be recorded in the books of accounts of a company. Understood? Here, we must brought into account all kinds of transactions. We should not focus only on cash transactions. We must concentrate on both cash transaction and credit transactions. So we must brought all kinds of transactions into books of accounts of a company, whether they are settled in terms of cash or not. That particular concept is called as accrual concept. For example, outstanding expenditures are incurred, but they are not yet paid. We should record this kind of transactions in books of accounts. That particular basis is called as accrual basis. Interest earned, but not received, We should record it according to accrual concept. Here, all types of transactions must be brought into account, whether they are settled in cash or not. That particular concept is known as accrual concept. The next concept is objectivity concept or evidence concept. Here the dictionary meaning of objectivity or evidence, it is nothing but proof. Objectivity is nothing but proof, or there should be some evidences. So this particular concept states that whatever transaction we will record in books of accounts of a company, they must have some proper evidence. There should be some proof for recording business transactions. So this particular concept states that entry should be made only for those transactions which are having proper proof, which are having proper evidence. If there is no proper proof and if there is no proper evidence, such kind of transaction should not be recorded in the books of accounts of a company. That particular concept is called as objectivity concept or evidence concept. So it is all about 10 concepts which every accountant need to follow at the time of preparing financial statements of the company. Here, financial statement, it includes profit and loss account and balance sheet. Profit and loss account is prepared to ascertain profit or loss of the business, and balance sheet is prepared to know the liquidity position and solvency position of the firm. Yeah, I already told you people what is the meaning of liquidity, what is the meaning of solvency. Liquidity means we must be capable to pay our liabilities, current liabilities. In very simple words, we must be capable to bear or pay day-to-day expenses. That is called as liquidity. And what is solvency? Solvency means we are capable to pay our liabilities, long-term debt. We are capable to repay our loan. Our assets are more valuable than liabilities. We are having more assets than liabilities. It is called as what? Solvency. So here, these all 10 accounting concepts will be used by accountant in their day-to-day accounting practice in order to provide reliable and relevant information to stakeholders, and in order to determine the true and fair view of the business. So these are 10 important concepts in the field of accounting. Now let us discuss the next thing, that is accounting conventions. Accounting conventions. What is the meaning of conventions? Conventions are nothing but these are certain traditions, these are certain customs, these are certain practices which every accountant must follow at the time of preparing financial statement. There will be certain customs. You can take example of these communities. In each and every community, there will be a kind of tradition. There will be a kind of practice. There will be a kind of certain customs, etc. So, like that, in the field of accounting, there are certain traditions, there are certain practices, which we call it as conventions, which every accountant must follow at the time of preparing financial statement. Actually, these are also a kind of guidelines which guides accountants at the time of preparing financial statement. They are called as what? They are called as accounting conventions. So here you can see the meaning of accounting conventions. Accounting conventions are customs or traditions or practices which are followed by an accountant and which guides in preparation of financial statement. They are called as accounting conventions. Keep in mind, these are certain traditions, these are certain practices, these are certain customs which every accountant must follow at the time of preparing profit and loss account and balance sheet. Actually, these concepts and conventions, GAAP, accounting standards, these all are for recording and reporting of business transactions. Hmm? Yeah. So there are four conventions in the field of accounting. First one is convention of materiality. Second one is convention of conservatism. Third one is convention of consistency. And fourth one is convention of full disclosure. Convention of full disclosure. Yes, let us discuss one by one along with examples. Convention of materiality. Here you should know the meaning of materiality. What is the meaning of materiality? Materiality is nothing but important, significant, useful, relevant, relevant. That is what, that is the dictionary meaning of materiality. Something should be material, meaning useful, relevant, important things. So here, this particular convention, that is convention of materiality, it states that accountant must focus or accountant must consider only important or essential transactions at the time of preparing financial statement. Or you can say accountant must disclose or accountant must provide only important, or you can say relevant or significant information to the stakeholders. It means he must consider only important things at the time of preparing financial statement of the firm. Actually, this particular convention gives importance for quality of information rather than on quantity of information. This convention states that no need to provide every information to stakeholders. We should provide them only important information. We should provide them only relevant information. We are not supposed to provide any kind of irrelevant information to the stakeholders. Irrelevant information to the stakeholders. That particular convention is called as convention of Materiality. Materiality means significant, useful, relevant, important information. Provide only important data. No need to provide any kind of irrelevant information to the stakeholders. Concentrate on quality of information instead of concentrating on quantity of information, because this particular convention believes that sometimes quantity will affect the quality of information. Quantity will affect the quality of information. So it focuses more on quality of information rather than concentrating on quantity of information. So that particular convention is called as convention of materiality. Then next convention is a convention of conservatism. You should know the meaning of terms like materiality means important, significant, relevant, useful. Here, what is the meaning of conservatism? Conservatism is nothing but precaution. It is nothing but precaution. It is nothing but prudence. We need to take certain measures. We need to take certain precautions at the time of preparing financial statement. Actually, we also call it as a safe principle of accounting. Which principle? Safe principle of accounting. Because this particular convention helps accountant, or it makes accountant to take necessary precautions at the time of practicing accounting. So what this particular convention states? This particular convention states that accountant must consider all kinds of anticipated losses, and he must ignore all kinds of anticipated profits at the time of preparing financial statement. Which means here, accountant should give more weightage to the anticipated losses which will harm the business. He must focus, he must consider all kind of anticipated losses at the time of preparing financial statement, and he can ignore anticipated profits at the time of preparing financial statement of the company. Which one is harmful? Anticipated losses or anticipated profit? Anticipated losses are harmful. They may cause any kind of problem to the business. So this particular convention states that, or it guides accountants that it makes him to consider all kind of anticipated losses. All kind of anticipated losses. For example, what are the meaning of anticipated losses? Example, you people know the meaning of bad debts. What is the meaning of bad debts? The amount of debt which we cannot collect, irrecoverable debts are called as bad debts. So we should create certain provisions for such kind of bad debts. We should consider such kind of bad debts at the time of preparing financial statement. That one is called as what? That one is called as convention of conservatism. Keep in mind, very simple convention where the anticipated losses must be considered and the anticipated profits must be ignored at the time of preparing financial statement of the company. Those That particular convention is called as what? It is called as conservatism. It makes accountant to take certain precautions by making him to consider anticipated losses and by making him to ignore anticipated profits at the time of preparing financial statement. We should take certain precautions. We must focus on all anticipated losses and we can ignore anticipated profits, because profits are not harmful, but anticipated losses are very much harmful to the business. So we should focus on that, and we should consider them at the time of preparing financial statement of the firm. They are called as what? They are called as convention of conservatism. Then the next convention is convention of consistency. What is the meaning of consistency? Consistency is nothing but stability. Consistency is nothing but uniformity. Actually, this particular convention is also known as principle of uniformity. Principle of uniformity. So here consistency means stability. It is nothing but uniformity. So what this particular convention states? See here, this particular convention states that there should be a stability in accounting practice. There should be a uniformity in accounting practice. Meaning, according to this particular convention, once the accountant have chosen any of the method of accounting, or if he is chosen any of the technique of accounting or system of accounting, he must follow the same method, technique, and system of accounting over a period of time. He is not supposed to change the methods of accounting and the techniques of accounting from accounting period to accounting period. Once he has chosen any of the methods of accounting or any of the system of accounting or technique of accounting, he must use the same technique or he must use the same method over a period of time. For example, in the year 2015, accountant has chosen a particular method of depreciation. He must use the same method of depreciation over a period of 5 years or 10 years. He is not supposed to interchange or he is not supposed to change the methods of depreciation from one year to another year. For example, 2015 straight line method, 2016 written down value method, then again 2017 straight line method, again written down value method. This kind of flexibility should not be there, should not be there. There should be consistency, there should be uniformity, there should be a stability in usage of accounting techniques and methods. We are not supposed to interchange, we are not supposed to change the techniques and methods of accounting from one accounting year to another accounting year. We should maintain stability, we should maintain consistency in accounting practice. So that particular convention is called as convention of consistency. You can see the meaning. According to this convention, the accounting practice and method should not change from one year to another. Once the accountant choose any of the method of accounting or technique of accounting, he should use the same methods and techniques over a period of time. This convention helps to maintain uniformity in accounting practice. That is the reason I told you people that this particular convention is also known as convention of uniformity, principle of uniformity, or you can say it is also known as principle of stability in accounting practice. You can take one more example. Actually, there is a concept called valuation of stock, valuation of inventory. There are methods like FIFO method, LIFO method, weighted average method, simple average method. Once accountant has chosen FIFO method, for a period of 10 years, he must follow that FIFO method. Once he has chosen LIFO method, he should follow that particular method over a period of time. He is not supposed to interchange the methods of valuation of inventory, like one year FIFO, another year LIFO, the next year weighted average method, the next year again simple average method. Like this, he is not supposed to change the methods of accounting. That is what that particular convention is called as convention of consistency. Then next convention is convention of full disclosure. Actually, this particular convention is completely opposite to the first convention, that is convention of materiality. Actually, convention of materiality states that we should focus only on quality of information. We should provide, or you can say we should consider only relevant transactions at the time of preparing financial statements of the company. But this particular convention, that is convention of full disclosure, it states that accountant must consider each and every transactions at the time of preparing financial statement. He should not make any kind of bifurcation like relevant transactions and irrelevant transactions. He must provide complete, full information to the users. He is not supposed to hide, and he is not supposed to he is not supposed to hide any kind of accounting information from the stakeholders. He is not supposed to make any kind of bias like relevant and irrelevant. We should provide them complete information. They have to decide which one is important and which one is irrelevant for them. That particular convention is called as convention of full disclosure. The name itself, it indicates full disclosure, meaning provide complete information, not to hide any information from the stakeholders. We should consider each and every transactions at the time of preparing financial statements of the company. That particular convention is known as convention of full disclosure. So, like this, there are four important conventions in the field of accounting. First one is convention of materiality. Second one is convention of conservatism. Third one is convention of consistency. And fourth one is convention of full disclosure. You should remember the key terms. Like what is the meaning of materiality? Materiality means important, significant, useful, essential, relevant information. So As an accountant, we should focus only on relevant information, relevant transactions at the time of preparing financial statement. Our focus should be on quality of information, not on quantity of information. Second one is conservatism, that is convention of conservatism. As an accountant, you should take some precautions. You should take certain measures at the time of preparing financial statement. What is that precaution? That precaution is we should consider all anticipated losses and we should ignore all anticipated profits at the time of preparing financial statement of the company. That particular convention is called as convention of conservatism. Then third one is convention of consistency. Yes, here consistency means stability, uniformity. So this particular convention states that accountant should not change the method and the technique of accounting from one accounting year to another accounting year. He should follow, he should use same method and the techniques of accounting over a period of time. It helps to bring uniformity in accounting practice. Actually, uniformity is very important because we are going to compare financial statement. We are going to compare this year financial statement with the previous year financial statement. I mean, this year balance sheet with previous year balance sheet, this year profit and loss account with previous year profit and loss account. So this comparison is possible only when there is a consistency, only when there is a uniformity in accounting practice. Otherwise, consistency is not possible. That particular convention is called as convention of consistency. Then last one is convention of full disclosure. As I told you, people, it is completely opposite to first convention, that is convention of materiality. This particular convention gives importance for quantity of information, not for quality of information. This particular convention states that accountant must provide full and complete information to stakeholders. It means accountant must record each and every business transactions. He must record each and every business transactions in books of accounts of a company. He is not supposed to bifurcate. He is not supposed to classify the information into relevant and irrelevant. He should provide complete information. And it is left to the users that they will decide which one is important and which one is irrelevant for them. We are not supposed to hide any information from them. We should communicate complete information with the help of financial statements. That particular convention is called as convention of full disclosure. Okay. So it is all about four important conventions that we will follow in day-to-day accounting practices. Let us move to next term. Already we discussed about GAAP. GAAP stands for generally accepted accounting principles. Actually, first what we used to call as concepts, actually we were calling it as principles. Later they started to call them as concepts, conventions, postulates, etc. Later, they started to call them as GAAP, that is a generally accepted accounting principles. The same terms are called as accounting standards. Accounting standards. We'll discuss about accounting standards. Yeah, as we know about GAAP, it is generally accepted accounting principles. These are certain universal rules which every accountant must follow at the time of reporting, recording and reporting of business transactions in financial statement. And these will help to bring uniformity in accounting practice. Okay, let us move to another important aspect, that is accounting standards. Accounting standards. See here, actually these concepts and conventions, and even you can take GAAP, generally accepted accounting principles. Actually, they were a kind of oral guidelines. They were kind of oral guidelines, but these accounting standards are some improved version or advanced version of GAPs. These are not oral instructions. These are certain written guidelines. These are certain written guidelines. So here accounting standards, these are certain written statements which are consisting rules and guidelines. And these are also issued by professional bodies or accounting institutions for the purpose of preparation and presentation of financial statement. Keep in mind, these are written statements or written rules and regulations issued by professional bodies like Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, Institute of Cost and Works Accountants, ICWA. So they are given certain written rules and regulations. They are given certain written guidelines for preparation and presentation of financial statement. They are called as what? They are called as accounting standards. In India, this entire accounting practice is governed by professional body called ICAI. ICAI stands for Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, and it is established in the month of July 1977. Actually, earlier we used to call it as ASB, Accounting Standard Board. Right now we are calling it as ICAI, that is Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. And the companies which are working in India must practice accounting standards that are given by ICAI. ICAI. Okay. Yeah. See here. Till today, this Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has issued 32 accounting standards, and those 32 accounting standards are applicable to all the companies which are located in India. Actually, out of 32, one accounting standard is withdrawn. That is, I think, accounting standard 8, which is on accounting for intangible assets or accounting for research and innovation, something. That accounting standard is withdrawn. So 31 accounting standards are in practice right now in India. And for your kind information, in India, this Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has issues accounting standards under Section 211 of Companies Act 1950s. And these are applicable to all businesses in India, irrespective of their nature, irrespective of their size, whether it is public limited company or private limited company, whether it is a partnership firm or cooperative society or Hindu undivided family or sole trading concern, whatever may be the nature of the ownership, it is applicable to all types of business, whether it is a service business or manufacturing business, applicable to all, whether it is a small business, micro business, medium scale business, or large scale industry, it is applicable to all types of business. These are also universal guidelines, and these are in written form. There are 32 accounting standards in written form, and each accounting is deals with a particular accounting practice. Here I have mentioned certain accounting standards, like accounting standard 2. It deals with valuation of inventory, stock. Inventory is nothing but stock. I have already told you people what is the meaning of stock. That is unsold finished goods and unused raw materials are known as stock at the end of the accounting year. So we need to determine the value of that stock at the end of the accounting year. At that time, we need to follow certain guidelines. We need to follow certain rules and regulations that are available with accounting standard 2, accounting for inventories or valuation of inventory. Then accounting standard 6 is applicable to depreciation. Depreciation is nothing but we need to reduce the value of the asset because of its normal wear and tear. If you purchased any of the asset, and if you are using that particular asset, or if you use that particular asset over a period of time, the value of that particular asset comes down. That is called as what? That is called as depreciation, normal wear and tear of assets. At the same time, there is one more example, that is accounting standard 10, that is accounting for fixed assets. Like this, there are 32 accounting standards, and each accounting standard deals with a particular accounting practice. Yes. And one more thing I wish to tell you people, in India, we are having two types of accounting standards. One is International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS, and another one is Indian Accounting Standards, IAS, Indian Accounting Standards. And recently in the year 2019, both are merged. This International Financial Reporting Standards and Indian Accounting Standards. Right now we are having Indian International Financial Reporting Standards. That is Indian Accounting Standards we are having. Actually, earlier International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS, they were applicable to multinational companies, meaning the company which works in more than one country. And Indian accounting standards, they were applicable to companies that are located in India. Yes, it is all about what? It is all about accounting standards. Let's see what are the objectives of accounting standards. why Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has brought 32 accounting standards. First one is to improve the reliability of financial statement. Reliability of financial statement. Reliability is nothing but like which we can trust, which we can accept, believe. That is what that is reliability. So to improve the reliability of financial statement, that trust on financial statement, these accounting standards are introduced, meaning this will not give any kind of scope for manipulation or frauds in accounting practices. That is first one. And second objective is to bring the uniformity or stability or consistency in accounting practice. For that purpose, these accounting standards are introduced. Then third one, as I said, this will not give scope for frauds and manipulation. So in order to prevent frauds, in order to prevent manipulations in accounting practice, these accounting standards are introduced. And another objective is to simplify the accounting information, to simplify the accounting information, meaning making accounting information as much as simple, avoiding a kinds of confusions, compounds or dilemmas in accounting practice. For that purpose, these accounting standards are introduced. So first one is to improving the reliability of financial statement. Second one is to bring the uniformity in accounting practice. Third one is preventing frauds and manipulations in accounting practice. And fourth one is making accounting information more useful, simple. For this purpose, accounting standards are introduced.